The Tanimu Turaki-led faction of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has ordered its lawyers to appeal a federal high court judgment in Ibadan that nullified its November 2025 National Convention. The court ruled that the caretaker committee led by Mohammed, Abdulrahman and Anyanwu remains the party's recognized national working committee pending a valid convention and barred Turaki's faction from parading as national officers. Reacting, the faction said it will challenge the ruling and urged members to remain calm, insisting the REBIRTH movement remains on course. The convention was invalidated following a suit by aggrieved stakeholders over alleged irregularities in delegate lists and congresses, with a similar case earlier filed by the Wike-aligned faction in Abuja.
For clarity, we approach the court seeking an order of mandamus to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize the Ibadan Convention and to facilitate official party communications with the Commission. In the course of the proceedings, some former members of our party who had earlier been expelled applied to be joined and were so joined by the order of the court. They filed processes urging the court not to grant our prayers without more. However, and we must respectfully, the court proceeded suo motu to grant reliefs that were neither prayed for nor canvassed by any of the parties before the court. More importantly, the judgment is in material conflict with subsisting orders and previous judgments of courts of coordinate jurisdiction, all of whom are now subject of appeal before the Court of Appeal.
Now, joining us to discuss on the PDP leadership crisis is Comrade Dabokiabo Wamate, who is the party's chieftain. Thank you for joining us tonight, Comrade.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start with the court ruling. I mean, the court says that the Abdulrahman Anyanwu caretaker committee remains the recognized leadership and has barred, your faction, or should I say the other faction. So why are you appealing, and what exactly did the judge get wrong this time?
No, thank you very much. Well, let me start by saying that this did not come as a surprise. Before now, even on your platform and several platforms, I've made it very clear that in the eyes of the law, the Ibadan Convention was not held. And that's why people like us were not surprised. And the court has looked at it and has said that there was no convention and has nullified every decision taken, including the election of national officers in that purported convention. And the court went further. I believe it is in the wisdom of the court, considering the fact that they've nullified the convention. In order not to be vacuum, they had to recognize the Anyanwu and Abdulrahman-led caretaker committee. You see, people have argued that there is appeal, so this judgment is not. But this judgment that was given, it was not Anyanwu or Abdulrahman faction that went to the Federal High Court Ibadan. It was the the Turaki-led faction that went to the Ibadan Federal High Court, having failed to meet the requirement, because you remember there were two judgments from the Federal High Court Abuja, separate judgment, as against the State High Court order And after that, when INEC pursued the case, the state high court judge saw that it doesn't have jurisdiction over a federal institution like INEC. And by so doing, it delisted them from the case. And that the implication of that is that the convention was never recognized. And that was why the Turaki-led faction, being sponsored by Makinde, went to the federal high court to seek for recognition, for INEC to recognize them. And today, the court has said, we don't want INEC to recognize you because the convention is invalid and every decision taken in the convention is invalid. And, you know, there is no vacuum in leadership. As a result of that, they pick, what is it called? They recognize the Senator Honorable Abdulrahman and Senator Anyanwu led caretaker, National Caretaker Committee. So that is the true position of what transpired today at the Ibadan Federal High Court.
Okay, Comrade, based on reports, the convention was cancelled over alleged irregularities in delegate lists and also congresses. And we've seen, you know, similar cases in Abuja as well. Now, did anything go wrong in that process, and who should take responsibility?
Look, you see, the court said they based their judgment on the fact that, one, the Turaki-led faction disobeyed court orders. Number two, not court order, court judgment, two court judgment. Then number two is that they went against the party constitution. It was on that ground, those two grounds, they nullified the Ibadan Convention. So looking at that, the person or persons that are saddled should be saddled with the responsibility or the blame for what is happening today in PDP as a result of today's judgment is His Excellency Engineer Makinde. We told them, follow the due process, meet the requirement. And that's why I said, as I mentioned earlier, that in the eyes of the law, I still maintain the convention was not, you know, conducted. And today, I have been vindicated by the Federal High Court Ibadan. In as much as they want to appeal, no problem. It's the right of the Turaki-led faction to appeal it. But the truth remains that there are infractions in the process, and the court has, based on that, nullified the convention. And whether rightly or wrongly, the court has made this pronouncement. It is binding on the PDP national to obey it.
So, Comrade, based on comments from, you know, many stakeholders, they have blamed the APC government for, you know, the problems that are going on at the moment in the PDP. Now, as a PDP chieftain, do you think the court has been used to undermine your party?
Well, I don't have evidence to that fact, so I will not want to allude to it until I have facts to that. That is when I will allude to the fact that they have been used, the APC government are using them. But having said that, let's look at if APC government is going to use anybody, they'll use people that are willing within the PDP. So the question is that why would those people be willing to destroy their own home, to destroy their own family, and for an outsider? That is the issue. And that's why we are having issue with a lot of leaders in our great party, the People's Democratic Party. We believe that the party will bounce back. Whether APC is doing is behind whatever is happening in PDP or not, there must be PDP members that are forming alliance or that has cut deals with them. Otherwise, there is no way they would have been able to do this. And I don't have evidence of that fact, so I cannot blame the APC-led government, but I can blame PDP leaders because of their inaction, you know, and actions and their decision and their. I've said it. Some of them don't have the discipline to say no to financial incentive in order to stand by the truth. All these cumulative reasons led to what we are facing today.
Well, Comrade, you would agree with me, just like, you know, every other Nigerian will say that politics in Nigeria is a tricky one. So let's hope that at the end of the day, all of these issues in the PDP will be resolved. Thank you so much for speaking with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Sure, it will.